Hi everyone, welcome to FilmDirt. For this one I'm going to be talking about Superman 3. Now this is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. It's not the same quality as the first two films for sure. I know there's been some development issues, let's say. Although there's a lot of good here, it's just, for me it's a missed opportunity, major missed opportunity. I mean, you had good foundations with the first two movies, great crew that they let go, great writer, some good characters, some good actors on board, and I don't know, it just all seemed to deteriorate. Now it's not all Richard Lester's blame. I don't think it's all him. Although he did make bad decisions, and he wasn't the only one making bad decisions really, but it's just a shame when you think back when you had two great movies and everything just seemed to go sour following those, and yeah, what a great shame, because we all know that the producers had fallen out with Richard Donner, and apparently he had ideas for a series of these movies. If we could have let him and his writer develop like a 3-film or 4-film arc, we could have had something special, because they were really onto something with the quality of the first two movies. You just think, what a shame. But I do think there's some qualities here which are really good, like mirroring the first two films, like Chris Reeve himself. I mean, what a fantastic actor, as I already said in my previous Superman reviews. I think he looked his best here. I like he looked older slightly, and that's good. And there's more slicked hair. Yeah, he was the man. Bigger as well. Obviously, he had more time in the gym. I just think, all of the foundations were here almost. You had two great films preceding it, and and we just didn't get it with this one. Although there is some good, there's a lot of bad here, and that's a shame. So you've got other characters here which are different from the first two films, and that's fine. I'm not wanting more Lex Luthor and more Lois Lane, although it would have been nice to have some input from them, albeit very little in Lois Lane's case. But you just think, you've had them in two movies now, and maybe it's good to have different characters as you progress, because you don't want to see the same movie. I mean, there is something to be had for introducing new characters. I mean, it's nice to have more continuity with the previous edition of a series, and you still don't want to go and see the same movie almost, and that's I guess that's the holy grail of writing. How do you retain the audience and retain the characters without telling the same old story? So, I mean, that's a talented writer and a talented filmmaker to figure out. We just can't say, I want more of good stuff and less of the bad. I mean, everyone wants more, and we certainly did want more from this series. I just think, it's a missed opportunity for sure, because I've mentioned the foundations of the process with the crew, great crew they had on board, great cast and director. You've got the great flying effects, which are in some respects are better than the first two films. I mean, I still believe a man can fly, and there's a couple of shots here which are great. Especially flying into the canyon and flying with Richard Pryor's character. I mean, the man's flying. He's Superman. You can't say there was any reduction in quality from a technical aspect. Maybe in a storytelling capacity, it was weaker, but you know, good foundations for the series were here, and I'm not saying it's all thrown away or it was all presented on a platter for them, and they decided not to utilize what they had. But just one of those things where, you know, we know the story about the producers not getting on, and maybe Donna was requiring too much money, and you know, their tempers were, you know, just one too many arguments. When you can't get on with someone, there's very little you can do, and no one wants to back down, do they? That's what a shame. What a great shame, because you know, two great films, and this is the point now where it starts going downhill almost. And it's a shame to say. You know, I don't like a lot of Richard Pryor's character, although I'm a huge fan of Richard Pryor. You know, in his comedy, he's one of the funniest men. If you appreciate his type of observation comedy and storytelling, you know, the guy has got a presence. But you know, for someone with apparent no knowledge of computers, is able to sit down and pull the knowledge out of thin air. You know, I know it's a comic book, but that's hard to believe. You know, you've got some improbable things happening, and you know, just silly stuff with the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and you know, there's just a lot of pointless comedy here. You're testing my tolerance for believability here. You know, and that's one of the things you got to keep saying to yourself. It's a comic book, but I don't want to diss the film too much, because you can still put this on and enjoy it. There's a lot of good here. Maybe an excess of Richard Pryor, because it's not only him, but the story drags in the middle when Clark Kent is back in Smallville, and you know, he's meeting up with his ex-school friends, and you know, it's not that interesting part of the movie. It's nice to have Lana Lang's character introduced, and you know, and he's you know, getting close to her. And you've got Lois Lane back in Metropolis, and we only see her at the beginning of the movie when she leaves, and once more at the end when she arrives. I think that's all we get from her. And you know, it's we know that Margot Kidder possibly fell out with the producers as well. You know, and it's just one of those things that, I mean, it always leaves us wanting more, and you got to say, what if? You know, what if Richard Donner was allowed to stay on, and his writer Tom Mankiewicz, and develop a multi-film arc of one story, rather than having a number of solo movies. You know, it's just one of those things. It's left us wanting more, and it's not always a good thing, leaving people wanting more. I mean, but still, it's you know, I do like a lot of this film. Like I said, I love Chris Reeve's performance, especially when he's fighting evil Superman. I mean, his portrayal of evil Superman was fantastic. At the end of the day, the guy is wearing a silly leotard spandex costume, but we believe he's Superman because of his great acting. You know, he's hanging around, you know, with people in town, and he doesn't look silly. You know, someone dressed like that, you think, you know, what's all this about? You know, you look silly dressed like a cartoon character, but you know, the guy's Superman. I mean, like I said earlier, he looks his best here. Yeah, I know I keep saying it's a missed opportunity, but you gotta look at the film for what it is. I mean, it's a detachment from the first two films. I did like a couple of Richard Lester's decisions in the second film, and he's made some good decisions here as well, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on here as well. And it's almost a solo film, isn't it? It's detached from the previous two, in not only in quality but as it is in story. It's almost its own entity. For me, you've gone from two 5-star movies to I think this is a 3-star for me because it's above average. I mean, there is a lot of good here. Chris Reeve is great, but it's just a lot of boring and unnecessary gags. So I think 3 stars is fair. I can't say it's 2. It's not a 2-star film. It's an above average movie for all the good it's still got. And that's my review for Superman 3. And I've got a sneaky feeling my next review might be Superman 4. Yeah, we'll see. So just to finish with a little bit about myself, as I always like to remind first-time visitors to my channel, I'm completely unbiased and I've got no connection to any of the studios. I don't accept the free tickets to screenings. I know some others do accept free tickets and and promotional bonuses for good reviews. I mean, it does happen in the industry. Without writing a good review all of the time, I think they'll get their bonuses withdrawn. So no, I don't like to do that. I like to speak my mind because I'm a huge movie fan. So thanks a lot for joining me and listening to me talk about movies, and it was good talking to you. I'll speak to you again. Take care.